Hi, this is Jeff Odom. Welcome to FAIA's 5-minute webinar tutorial. After this tutorial, you'll be surprised how easy and convenient a webinar actually is. While saving time and eliminating travel, you can still have the exceptional education you've come to know from FAIA. Webinars are normally 2 hours in length, and for some, the time you spent traveling to the classroom location, you would already have 2 hours of quality CE. This tutorial will shed the unknown you may have concerning webinars and show you just how easy and convenient they really are. Now today's webinar will cover 3 things. Number 1, how to register. Now this is a 2-step process that I'll describe in a moment. Number 2, how to log on to the webinar. And number 3, how to navigate around the webinar. But first, let me go over the computer requirements to run a successful webinar. If you're a PC user, you need at least Windows 2000, one of the XP series, or Vista. If you're an Apple user, you need at least 10.4 or newer. Now let's move on to the registration process. This process is a little different than registering for our classes. Like I said earlier, this is a 2-step process. The first step is to register using FAIA's website. Now, once you've logged on to our website, you will see in the lower right hand corner under Education a link titled Webinar Information. Click on that link and you'll see the following screen. Click on List of Webinars, and the next screen you will see is a list of our classes. Notice the webinars are titled as such. Click on the webinar you would like to attend and you'll be brought to our registration page. Click on the registration button and you'll be prompted to register and pay. Now the second part of the registration process is registering with GoToWebinar. Now this is a very important step. Now once you register with FAIA, you will receive an email invitation from us instructing you to register with GoToWebinar. Once you register with GoToWebinar, you will receive an email from them with a link to join the webinar on the scheduled date. Remember, if you don't see any emails from GoToWebinar, check your junk folder or spam folder in case they accidentally were delivered there. If you registered early for the webinar, you will receive a reminder a day before the class and an hour before the class. In other words, there is no way you're going to forget about this webinar. Before the webinar begins, you will click on this link to join the webinar. You'll be given a phone number to call in and you'll be prompted to enter an access code, which is on the email, and a PIN number, which is given to you once you click to enter the webinar. You're given the option to listen to the webinar through the phone or on your computer speakers. If your computer does not have speakers, you should elect the Use Telephone option. This is what you'll see when you log on to one of our webinars. If you log in early, you'll be prompted that the webinar will begin shortly. Now you'll notice the attendee control pane to your right. We have labeled the attendee pane so that we can show you how each one operates. First, let's look at A. You can click on the arrow under A to collapse or expand the whole attendee pane. Now during the webinar, the instructor may ask you to raise your hand. This can be done by clicking on the hand button located at B. During the webinar, we will conduct a couple of attendance checks. Now remember, there are no tests for a live webinar. The attendance check is done either by raising of the hand or typing in your name using the question and answer pane that we will cover shortly. C shows you are listening to the webinar, either by speakers or on the telephone. D and E is where you can type in questions during the webinar and where you'll receive an answer from the instructor. When the webinar is over, just click on File and choose Exit Webinar. Now see, that was painless. You are now an official webinar expert. Now if you have any questions regarding webinars, you can email me at the letter J, Odom, O-D-O-M, at FAIA.com. We at FAIA look forward to serving your educational needs.